uh, Sudha, Sudha in general newspapers, magazines, and all those things. He's a very good environmental scientist because he's having a love towards nature. He visited many places, including the Western world. He visited many countries, UK, and then Ireland, Russia, and many places, Thailand, Singapore. He visited many places just to see the environment, how they are built the nations. And is a very good photographer. And he is having the habit of going to places, visit places, write about those places. And equally, he is a very good academician. I did a lot of work in the field of polymer as well as in the chemistry, and he has written n number of articles in reputed journals. Professor also completed two major projects funded by ICSSR. Recently, Professor completed his tenure as professor, and now he is enjoying his retired life, and now he is more free to visit places and get informations about the first-hand informations about the places. With these words, I would like to welcome Professor R.L. Jagadish, Ramasamy Kanave Jagadish. Welcome you, sir. Over to you.
Thank you very much, sir.
Yeah. VC has come. I have to go.
ಎಷ್ಟೊತ್ತು ತಗೋಬೇಕು ನಾನು ಎಷ್ಟೊತ್ತು ಟೈಮು
ಸರ್ 11:15
ಓಕೆ ಸರ್ ರೈಟ್
ಓಕೆ ಸರ್ ಥ್ಯಾಂಕ್ ಯು ಸರ್
ರೈಟ್ ಅದೊಂದು ಮ್ಯೂಸಿಕ್ ಆನ್ ಮಾಡ್ತೀರಾ ಸಂಬಡಿ ಹೂ ಇಸ್ ಆಪರೇಟಿಂಗ್ ದಿಸ್ ದೇರ್ ಇಸ್ ಎ ಮ್ಯೂಸಿಕ್ ಐ ಹ್ಯಾವ್ ಸೆಂಟ್ ಎ ಮ್ಯೂಸಿಕ್
ಯಾವ ಸ್ಲೈಡ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಇದೆ ಸರ್ ಅದು
ಸ್ಲೈಡ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಇಲ್ಲ ಸಪರೇಟ್ ಅವ್ರು ಕಳಿಸಿದ್ದೆ ಅದೇನ್ ಕಳಿಸಿಲ್ಲ ಅಂತ ಹಾಗಾರಲ್ವಾ
ಇಲ್ಲ ಮ್ಯೂಸಿಕ್ ಕಳಿಸ್ಲಿಲ್ಲ ಅವರು ಪಿಪಿಟಿ ಶೇರ್
ಬಿಟ್ಬಿಟ್ಟಿದ್ದಾರೆ ಅಲ್ವೇ ಬಿಡಿ ನಾನು ಜಸ್ಟ್ ಪ್ಲೇ ಮಾಡ್ತೀನಿ ಕೇಳಿಸ್ತಲ್ವಾ ಅದು
ಓಕೆ
ವಿಡಿಯೋ ಕಳಿಸಿದ್ದೆ ಕೇಳಿಸ್ತಿದೆಯಲ್ಲ
yes sir
ಸೊ ಈ ಹಾಡು ಸಾಕಷ್ಟು ಹಳೆಯದು ಕೇಳಿದರೆ ಯಾರು ಎನಿಬಡಿ ಹ್ಯಾಸ್ ಲಿಸನ್ ಟು ದಿಸ್ ಐ ಥಿಂಕ್ ಕಾನ್ವರ್ಸ್ ಮಾಡೋ ಆಗಿಲ್ಲ ಅಲ್ವಾ ಈಗ ನೆಕ್ಸ್ಟ್ ಸ್ಲೈಡ್ ಹೋಗಿ ನೆಕ್ಸ್ಟ್ ಸ್ಲೈಡ್ ಪ್ಲೀಸ್ again this was the thing which I saw in Ireland. So like that all the friends who are for the refresher course now onwards will be friends. Okay, next slide please. So I just want to thank Google, Wikipedia and whoever invented copy and paste. Because of that these slides have been here. Next please. So as you know that updation is the most important aspect everywhere. You can see in the yesterday's Hindu or any economic magazines, they have come out with new technology for tires. So that is why I took the topic tires, since there was very little time for me to converse for the refresher course, because morning only Prem Kumar requested me to just speak to the economic refresher course participants. Okay, you can see here how the wheels have been invented, how the mobility. The song which I showed was pre-independence, where the bullock carts are being used to mobility of the people from one place to another place. That is why Once Sir M. Vishwesvaraya told Mahatma Gandhi ji, if you are going to travel only by bullock cart, it takes years together to travel from one end to the another end of India. Because Sir M. Vishwesvaraya wanted to bring automobile industry in Bangalore. So Gandhi was not willing to bring that. So those were the statements, and you can imagine after 1990, how the whole world has been changing. So actually the wheel has become the symbol, and the fastest vehicles have been invented by the mankind, including the aircrafts. Next, sir. Next slide. Next, this is a quote. So you can see here the happiness index. Even we are going down in that. Next slide, please. Next, sir. Next. So in the meantime, since I am a person who working on plastics, so we need to develop materials which are sustainable to the Mother Earth. So new technologies and approaches being developed, and you can see biodegradable plastics coming to the market. Still, I won't agree, being a polymer scientist and a chemist. It is difficult always to make a material. Make a material which is going to be mixed with the environment and in the soil and all. It is very difficult. So better not to use much of these plastic materials. Next slide, please, sir. So you can see here how the traffic is being increased and how it is difficult. So recently held Dasara, the people were unable to move a kilometer. So initially when we were children, we didn't have vehicles, and there were only 1 or 2 vehicles can be seen on the road. Now for 1 kilometer you can see more than 100, like Delhi, Bangalore, Mumbai, and have been choked by the traffic, and number of vehicles also. You can see in the later slides the number of vehicles being actually I heard in the last week newspaper 25 lakhs vehicles have been registered in Bangalore alone. So and imagine the rest of the country. Okay, sir. Next. $50 metric tons has been dumped into ocean. Recently, I could not show those videos. Some Norwegian agency, they are removing. See, you may have one question in your mind. Where these plastics go when we dump into the drainage and all this garbage, drainage, everything get into sea. From sea, get into a center place, Pacific Ocean. From there, they have removed tons of plastics and rubbish. They have invented new machineries to remove all these garbage from the ocean. So recently, we had a program in Kabini Reservoir. I hope all of you might have seen Kabini Reservoir next to Kote. We have removed 7 truckload, bigger truckload, that is 11-ton truckload, 11-ton truck. So imagine how we are throwing away. Next slide, please, sir. So you can see at the 4 Indian cities where you can see the what you call worst congestion, the traffic, and nobody can do anything unless people start using the public transportation. So one thing is the country is known as developed when a what you call the man who is rich can use the public transportation. In our country, the public transportation is very bad. 1 minute. Public transportation is very bad and people have to depend on their own vehicle. After pandemic, you can see the number of two-wheelers are becoming more and more, and people travel from Mysore to Bangalore or any other place by two-wheelers. So that was the situation and they have adopted concepts. Next slide, please. You can see here how the population and how people spend in the traffic. So almost 500 liters of petrol being burnt in the traffic signals. And all in Bangalore, we can see in Electronic City Road. Next, please. So you can see, I had one more chart of 2019. So they have made 2019 registered motor vehicles in 1000. You can see the states and how it is being increased. You can see in Maharashtra and Karnataka also 17,871 in thousands. So much of vehicles, and it is going on increasing. It never reduced because of our public transportation is very bad. Even though we feel okay, but still bad. At the peak hours, you have to stand for hours together to get into your destination. Next slide, please. So this you have taken from 1951. You can see this in what you call released 90 particular populations and the laws, everything is going up. Next slide, please, sir. So you can see million plus cities recording high growth rates of registered motor vehicles. Surat, Kanpur, Pune, Patna, Ahmedabad. This is on increasing. So from 2007 to 2019 also it is getting doubled. Next. Next, sir. Go next. So as I earlier told, the two-wheeler population is being increasing like anything. Even you can see women started driving from some 30 years. So now the woman population also is going for single vehicles. So the vehicle also now getting doubled due to this. Next. Next, please. Next, please. So you can see here trend in the share of vehicular composition from 1951, how it is being increased. You can see two-wheelers, you can see the maximum two-wheelers, how much two-wheelers have been increased like. So even you can see how many, you can just go through how many showrooms of two-wheelers are available in it. Even two-wheeler showrooms have gone to Hubli also. Taluk, now Hubli also, they have two-wheeler showrooms. Next page. Here are the total number of registered motor vehicles in millions. How many millions have been registered till 2017, but in 2019 it is still more. Next slide. See, now I am just talking about the tires. The basics of any mobility is the tire. So as you know, in India, we usually abuse everything, including plastics being assumed. You can see even a chocolate cover, a small chocolate cover or peppermint cover may get into any drain and it can choke anything. We think that it is a small one, but that is going to create a havoc everywhere. Similarly, overloading is also a problem in our country. Suppose a bus has the capacity of 50. In some of the rural regions, since only one bus going to come to their village, there will be more than 100 people in a single bus. 100, 110 like that. Even top, they sit on the top also and travel. So what we have to design now is the tire, whichever we design or whichever we produce, they should accommodate more than 100 people. That is what the scientists, since I was working in the tire industry, we usually design or manufacture a tire which is going to suit the conditions of our country, that to rural areas. Sometimes the vehicle has to pass through difficult terrains because roads are very bad. Next slide, please. Low pressures, you can see how the low pressures and other things are going to trouble us. Next, please. So here you can see the complexity of the structure and behavior of the tire are such that no So the major aspect of mobility is aircraft. So once you get a airport in your place, so definitely there will be services from different agencies. So in Mysore also we have a domestic airport. Now it is going to be upgraded to international. So I am not interested in such things, but we are interested in the tires and the mobility. So without the wheels, we cannot expect the aircraft to take off. Or there is one saying that there is, when you travel in air, the only problem is landing and takeoff. So around 600 kilometers speed will be there when it takes off and in also landing. So the safety of the tires has to be taken very seriously whenever we talk of aircraft. Because in regular also same thing. In regular four-wheeler and you have a better tire safety. And I think you might have seen advertisements in and around Mysore city or Bangalore or anywhere, puncture resistance tires and then smart tires where it will show the air pressure in the tires, and the puncture also rarely comes nowadays for the tires. So next slide. So the one more aspect, see, you may, as an economist, you may think of why the Formula One races will be done by different type of companies. Tyer, Bridgestone, Jagadisha, Michelin, they all go and sponsor this event of Formula One car racing. So we have to see that why this is being done. So this is being done to check the tire. The same type of tire products, compounds are being used for application. Is being tested in a regular basis every year in Malaysia or anyone in India. We have one track in Delhi, Noida, where they test these tires. That is through Formula. Our Indian Karthikeyan has the capacity to run these vehicles. We can see the person who is there on the cockpit. It is known as cockpit. So the cockpit is made of plastics, very durable and sustainable plastics. Even if there is an accident, nothing will happen to the person who is driving it. So you should dare to drive at the speed of 600 kilometers. So once these vehicles go with 600 kilometer speed and the tire is being satisfied the conditions, then the same type of tires are being used for the automobile sector also, whether two-wheeler or four-wheeler. Next slide, please. So these are the Formula One tires built for performance rather than longevity. So you can see the green strips and weather strips. So same type of tires are being manufactured for our own vehicles which run here. See, suppose we are in Kerala and Mangalore, there will be heavy rain during rainy season or any time. There is a chances of slippery and the grip may not be there for the tires. But nowadays, when they manufacture that if the tire is for the coastal regions, the tire will be different. For Leh Ladakh or Himalayan regions, that will be different. So that is why I am showing this. This is the market strategy by the companies where they test the tires through Formula One. So you can see here, Formula One tires do not use ordinary air for inclination. A nitrogen is. I think you may also be using nitrogen for your vehicles. Since nitrogen is neutral, nitrogen is inert. Better to use nitrogen for all your vehicles. That will be a better option for the vehicles where it stops the oxidations of the material. Okay, right, next one. So you can here see, so once you do something, it has to be useful for everyone. So if there is a accident and the movability of any person is hindered, so then we need to have a vehicle or a wheelchair which can take him to any place. You might have seen, I saw once in Singapore, there was a stair and they had a vehicle for not lift. So they can sit on the chair and the chair can take them to the first floor or second floor like that. So similarly, there are people who have made a foldable wheel for that purpose. Okay. So this is airless tire which can be used and space saving. You can take anywhere and use it for that. Okay, next slide, please. So this is again the military involves in number of applications. So whatever the military gets to its vehicles will be later given to the general public also. This is one of the tires, the wheel with which has got shape of shifting tracks. It can shift the tracks. So these are new generation tires which may come into the market shortly. Next, please. A1 wheel used to imagine the tire or anything, it is circular. Now the wheel has been invented in a sphere. It is like a sphere. So as you know, it is like the shape of a ball. So once the ball is fixed into the vehicle, it can move in any direction. So I can't show the video because of some technical problems. The spherical A1 wheel. So usually the nature provides all sort of solutions. So here you can see the marine algae is being seen and which has got the capacity to remove water from its surface. So they have taken the concept from the marine organism and they have used it for making a tire. So in future, we may have to use this type of tires, which is known as the spherical wheel, which can sense, decide, transform, and interact. So this is known as the revolutionary tire, which the Goodyear company is being. This is known as brain quarry like that. Next, please. So you can see here the tire of the future and it's completely spherical. So the Goodyear Eagle 360 has been built with self-driving cars in mind, obviously. You can see the self-driving cars have been already test-driven in some countries. I don't think that will be possible in India, because India, it is very difficult to follow the traffic rules and all. Next. So you can see a Regal 360, they call it as self-autonomous cars. So I was under the impression in my childhood days and studying. So we used to see the movies and think that these are all virtual. It may not come into picture, including automatic doors. But now you can see that the vehicles are with automatic doors, all automation, auto cameras, everything has come into existence. So here also self-autonomous cars may be truly coming to the market shortly after practically what you call testing them on the new roads. Okay, next please. So this is the evolution of the tires where you can see how next slide please. So see, we were knowing about this. This you can see in near Tanjavur, Darasuram temple. They have made a beautiful tire circular. You can just see how even spokes are being made. Next, please. This is, as you know, in Hampi we have a stone Ratha. Next, please. So this is also you can see in Konark temple. Next. Next, sir. So you can see the initially the people used to have this type of for the mobility. And next we had a bullock cart. And now you can see how, you can see a person is standing on that, and how this can be almost 60-40. It can remove anything and transport. So we have huge vehicles. And next please. Next. So these are the history of wheel. I wanted to just tell you how we have the mobility was become an important aspect in this 22, 20, 22, 23, 24. And people, most of the industries are going behind these things. Next. So Dunlop bicycles and first pneumatic bicycle tire in the national Scotland. Next. So he discovered the vulcanization of rubber for making a best out of it, right? Next please. So this is how the mathematics works with the tire companies. Next please. Next. Next. This I already shown evolution of tires. Next please. The ancient wheel, the first tires. Next please. 1888. Next please. Innovation of car tires. Next please. Next. So we have this type of fabrics, that is rubber, fabric, rubber, reinforcing chemicals, anti-degradant, adhesion, promoters, curatives, and processing. Next page. So this is how the materials are being made. And making of or the building of a tire is not an easy aspect. So it is a complex process where you need to have different types of materials, not only fabric. Now you might have seen the tubeless tires. Tubeless tires doesn't need a tube or the envelope. So we have come from tube to tubeless. In future, now we have 50% of tubeless and 50% of tube type tires, and the vehicles fitted with them are running on the Indian roads, and globally they are running. But in future, we may have to go with a different type of tires which has been invented, including I told you, small tires. There is a tire known as wheel, where there is no concept of air itself. The tire surface itself will take care of the road, and it will adjust itself so that the person who is sitting inside will be very comfortable. But my aspect of tire is what to do when the tire is being scrapped. So imagine there are lakhs of tires have been scrapped every day. So what to do? So recycling is also an important aspects of these days. So the people are doing work on that, and they have succeeded in some of our colleagues and some of our friends in the industry. They have come out with beautiful way of recycling these tires. As you know, that tire recycling is very difficult. You cannot just, even plastic recycling is also very difficult. As you know that before I come to tire, the plastics, we abuse the plastics. Whenever you want, we use the plastic and just throw on the road. So when I visited other countries, like even Sri Lanka, you just take Sri Lanka. Sri Lanka is more cleaner than India. So whenever you come and land in Bangalore, Mysore, or any cities, you welcome with a garbage bottles and all. Imagine how many plastic bottles being sold. So we believe in distillery water and drink. And after drinking, initially some 30-35 back, we used to keep the bottles with us because it was very interesting to see. But nowadays, people will throw immediately after drinking water, they just throw. The best thing, if you want to watch that, you should travel in a train. So train people never carry water. 10 rupees is nothing for them. They just pay 10 rupees or 20 rupees. They buy water, drink, and recklessly they throw those things outside. Not only that, the one I observed meticulously is that after pandemic, we started using use and throw. Everybody afraid of the pandemic COVID-19 virus, and they started using all sort of one use plates, spoons, everything. So that became another way of abusing the plastic. And even whenever necessary, we never used the regular steel plates or anything. We started using all plastic, and ultimately it goes for recycling. Even they say that this plates made by banana or what you call beetle nut leaves and all. So we never we think that is going to be biodegradable, but you should remember one thing: biodegradability is something different by nature, not by us. The human has not done anything for that. So biodegradability is there because of hello. So we think that all the materials are going to be biodegradable, and it is going to be taken care by the nature. Impossible. It is not possible. Even if you throw anything made by nature, it takes a lot of time. We need pressures, we need temperature, we need moisture to biodegrade them into manure or anything. That is why we had a documentary recently made from the University of Mysore. So I also involved in that. So we wanted to encourage the people to clear the wet garbage, that is green, separately, and the dry garbage or the dry waste separately, and use it for a better purpose. Even recyclers are almost 64% of the plastics used are being recycled throughout the world. And India is better in recycling. Most of the materials from other countries come to India for recycling because we are expert in recycling. They get recycled, and you can see in Mumbai, the biggest slum, Dharavi. 3 years back, I visited Dharavi, and I could go through all the lanes of Dharavi, where you can see reprocessing of even solid paint. Suppose we bring the paint and it becomes solid after some time. So you cannot use it. If you even throw it, nothing will happen. The paint will be like a solid block. So people in Dharavi, they have got the capacity to grind it to powder. They just hit through the hammer, make it small pellets, then powder it, reuse it. That was the greatest thing. And I asked them what you will do. So they again make it as a paint and resell it with a lesser prices. So people who want to afford for those paints, they use it. Similarly, the recycling of plastics, recycling of rubbers. So what about recycling of cells, batteries? 600, almost 600 tons of mobile waste, I don't say garbage, is generated in India. In Bangalore, we have a unit in India industrial area where they use all this mobile and convert that into metals. Anybody can visit them and see, but only important is the economic point of view. If you want to convert something to a better useful product, there should be economy. If the economy won't work, nobody will go for recycling. That is what happens with the polythene bags, anything. Polythene bags maybe are sheets, lots of things we use in plastics. So they have been thrown. Similarly, when I come to tires, not only tire, we have lots of spares in automobiles, made of rubber, plastics, and all. Anyway, metal, usually they take it and they are going to melt it, and it goes for metal industries. But what about the other rubber products, rubber parts? You can see in any towns or cities or mega cities or metropolitan cities, if you walk through any ring roads, you can see pile up of all these sorts of automobile spares everywhere has been thrown. So now from last year onwards, people are very serious of recycling these type of materials like rubber. So rubber cannot be what you call biodegraded. It has to be recovered. So what they want to recover something. They have made some 5 to 6 important aspects for recovering material from the tires. We think that we are owning a vehicle and we have 4 tires or 2 tires. But imagine the number of vehicles that playing throughout India from Kashmir to Kanyakumari. You can't imagine what to do, how to do. Sustainability is very, very difficult as far as the environmental is concerned. Even if last week I visited Kabini Reservoir, so we have to clean again and get our 7 trucks load of plastic from that. Most of them are bottles. They throw everything. Everything has been thrown. So, sir, next slide, please, sir. Next. This is processing and productions, vulcanizations. Next. Next, please. These are properties. You can go further. Mechanisms and I don't. So these pneumatic tires, the evaluation of the pneumatic tire itself is the wonderful aspects. So you can see here, American tire manufacturers to avoid costly transition to radial tires. But after 1990, where the Berlin Wall has been demolished, the whole thing changed throughout the world. So people can afford to buy anything now. So similarly, when the scientists started telling that we can't use the stainless steel for making tires, some people agreed, but most of them didn't agree, and we gone for radial tires, which has got a better grip and better durability. Next, please. So we have to look out the tire safety. As you know, the number of accidents, Karnataka stands number 2 in accidents, and overtaking is the number 1 culprit, and two-wheelers deaths are more as per the records last week from the government of Karnataka and government of India road transport department. You can see that because tire safety is also one of the most important aspect whenever you drive a vehicle, because as far as the accident happened, sometimes I have seen people without insurance, without proper documents, they will be driving, and they are under the impression that we will not be caught by the police or by the authorities of the vehicle department. But due to bad luck, if they get into an accident, the whole family, the economy will be hampered. So that is why what the industry and the scientists like us, we want to see that the tire safety and the safety of the vehicle is the important aspect. Like from the past 1 month, people were discussing about the belts. So initially what we do is we invest lakhs together for the, say, car, but we don't want to invest another 2 lakhs for the safety purpose. So my concern is better to have safety also, whether a two-wheeler or a four-wheeler or any vehicle, you need to be safety. So here also we have, as far as the vehicle handling, improve vehicle handling, help protect you and others from avoidable breakdowns and accidents, improve fuel economy, increase the life of our tires. So breakdowns and accidents are more prone in India. So India is mostly, sometimes we have dangerous roads in India where people drive recklessly. And the most important is the improve the fuel economy. As far as the fuel is concerned, so the new vehicles which are coming will have, suppose you have Pulsar or Himalayan Bullet and all, they give 6 to 7 kilometers. So those vehicles are also being sold because the vehicle manufacturer target the youngsters who just finish engineering or join engineering. They go for this type of vehicles where the fuel economy is very, very, very bad. So then nowadays what happens, there are vehicles which fuel economy, that is electric and other hybrid vehicles are going to come in the future. And the other aspect is increase the life of our tires. Tire life has to be increased. Otherwise, again, it is going to cost the person who is in it. Hello? Next slide, please. So you should have a proper air in the tires also. They're most important. We usually, what we do is, we concentrate more on the outer look of the vehicles. We wash, we clean, we polish, everything. But people usually ignore the tires. Next slide, please. So this is the irregular wear tire rotations. You have to do the tire rotations. Anyway, next please. Next. So you have to inflate, rotate, and evaluate. Next. Next plot. So non-directional tires. So just I wanted to tell you that how many types of tires available in the market. So how they are being used. Non-directional, directional tires, different types of tires available. Next, please. Next. Next. So you have requirement of a good tire as a common man. You can see low rolling resistance, better high speed, and lesser heat generation. Next, please, sir. So here, where they get punctured. And now we don't want to have a downtime. Now there are puncture resistance tires available in the market. See how the market is being developed like anything, and whatever you want, whatever you expect, that will be sanctioned by the scientists and technologists. They just come out with that. You can see new vehicles. If you visit any showroom, new vehicles with new safety regulations will be available for the common man. Next, please. So this is one more aspect of the tire recycling. So one of the artists started making this type of sculptures in Germany, and it became when I visited in Mumbai in 2014, there was a conference of rubber manufacturers and plastic manufacturers about environmental aspects. In that, I was able to see this type of sculptures made out of tire scrap tires. Usually, tire scrap is being used by the jaggery makers for getting more heat inside, in and around Mandya and all, where the jaggery in one product, one district, we have jaggery in Mandya district. So in Mandya district, you can see they purchase tire and throw it to the Alemane, we call it as in Kannada, where they make the jaggery in a pan. So there, even the pollution will be at the highest rate when they use. So that is why what the next generation pan will be with steam or heaters, or with solar. They are trying with solar. So these are some of the aspects which has been taken care by the people who worried about the environment. Next type. So you can see the next, please. These are all about the tires one. Next. So the development of the most of the tires and tire manufacturers think of the new type of eco-friendly tires only. So only thing, one is eco-friendly means one thing is fuel efficiency. If the tire itself is not able to contribute towards fuel efficiency, it is very difficult aspect. So hence what they do is they usually try to have, because as you know that when the tire runs on the road, there will be friction. Friction generates friction means if one thing is running and another is stationary, there will be always a friction. This friction is going to cause heat development. The heat development is going to cause the destruction or decomposition. So this decomposition is going to create a problem for the tire, and the tire loses its efficiency. Ultimately, the fuel economy is going to come down. So that is why people are going for a new type of car tires or vehicle tires, and see that everything will be fine and faster. And as far as the plastics or polymers are concerned, people abuse plastics. The abusing of the plastics is the polythene bags, number one. And people think that because of plastics, everything is happening. So that is not the thing. Actually, we use plastic from our toothbrush, starting from toothbrush to implant for knee pain is going to be with plastics only. When you come to your house, you can see your computers, mobile phones, whatever gadgets you take in, the insulations, everything is from the plastics only. You can just stop that, including heart implants. When there is a surgery or bypass surgery, you need to have plastics or the polymer materials. Even blood donation camps, you have plastic bags, PVC and all. Initially, we used to have glass bottles where the transportations are very, very difficult. Even milk, you can see, no? Milk sachets. Initially, when I was a kid, we used to get milk in a bottle. So now the bottle has gone and the plastics are, the pouches are available for everything. You just imagine that a biscuit packet of 100 grams is protected by 0.1 gram of plastic sheet. So it protects from everything. Even ant cannot go inside. But new generation ants have come nowadays. They can even bore a plastic also. Even the rats never used to come and eat the plastics. Now they have got the capacity. They have grown with new type of teeth where they can cut the plastic also. You can see in some houses, they get into the pipes, drainage pipes, and travel through the pipes to the top and cut open everything and get into the houses. So these even nature and man, the complexity will always going to be tough one, because the nature always wants to teach you lessons. We think that we are better than that. Even when heavy rain comes, it can throw everything into garbage, in car or anything, building, everything will be thrown away into the sea. So that is how we have to keep our environment sustainable. And I hope all the teachers are to work on that. Before that, we should take care of ourselves by not using one-use plastics and all. Then only we can tell our students not to use, even including, suppose when students take the ice candy or ice cream, they usually throw the plastic into the road or somewhere because they won't find any garbage bins everywhere. I have seen in some countries there are lots of cycling activities. Even I too do the cycling activities. They do the cycling activity for 1,000 kilometers, 2,000 kilometers, like that. While going, they have all sort of things to eat or drink with them. So after usage, they usually throw the waste plastics or anything into the bins, which have been kept as a slanted thing on the roadside. I have seen even Sri Lanka, they have got that. But in our country, we have to improve like anything. I had the impression that after this COVID-19 pandemic, everything will get changed. But people forget very fast. Very fast they forget and they go ahead with the normal aspects. You can see how many people came to Mysore Dasara recently and they have spoiled the whole Chamundi Hill. There was a article on newspapers and all. Globally, see, as the social media is very strong in these days, everything get into the internet and people from faraway countries can see what is this they are doing. So that is why sometimes the US government has issued a notification to all its citizens not to travel far inside without any aspects of safety and other things. So unless we make ourselves aware of these things, See, we respect everything. We have cultures, everything. Even culture has gone to the last bench after 1990, because we call what you call diminishing cultural aspects in the people of the country, whatever may be the culture. But they have told that also where the other countries are very much worried about their culture and all, we are throwing it everywhere. When they do the puja and other things everywhere, you can see a lot of garbages derived out of them will be on the road. And who is going to clean it? God only knows. Anyway, thank you very much for listening to me, because it was a makeshift. ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಬಯಸದೇ ಬಂದ ಭಾಗ್ಯ ಅಂತ ಕರೀತಾರಲ್ಲ. Because Prem Kaur asked me to, because someone has absent, he was unable to attend the online meeting for refresher course. So he asked me whether you can talk to our participant. Hope I did something which will be useful for you. Otherwise, you can forget everything what I have spoken, right? Okay.
Okay, sir.
All right, sir. Any question and answer will be here? No. Anything? Atara enilla.
Sir, what